Hello everyone, welcome again. In this video, I'll explain you about methods with the arguments. As we discussed in the last video, what is method? A method is nothing but it's a group of statements, set of logic which is reusing for multiple times and also to perform some action or task in a program. That is called as method. So what is the purpose of method? If you want to reuse the same lines of the code for multiple times, instead of writing the same lines of the code again and again manually, we are just creating one method. Simply by calling that method, we can access all the 100 lines of the code or some lines of the code. That is the purpose of creating method. See, let me start with the methods with arguments. Let me start with one scenario. So assume that we are all working in the same project. We are all the developers and we are all working in the same project. And I'm the senior member. And every day, team members are writing the code. And after some time, I noticed that there are some team members. Okay, they are writing the same lines of the code repeatedly for multiple times. What I noticed, we are all working in the same project. And after some time, I noticed that some team members are writing the same lines of the code for multiple times. So instead of they are writing the code for multiple times, why can't we create one method? Yes, I decided to create one method. So what we are doing in this project, every team member is required to multiply three numbers. For example, every team member is required to multiply three numbers. So I'm the first team member, I'm writing the code. Second team member also writing the same code to multiply three numbers. Instead of every developer is writing the same lines of the code to multiply three numbers, why can't we reuse it by making it as a method? Yes, I decided to create one method. How to create the method? I'm just creating public. Why I'm keeping public here? Every team member can access this method. That's what I'm keeping it as a public. Next one is what? Static. Then next void no return and multiply. I'm just creating one method here. What is a multiply method? In this multiply method, I'm just writing the code. What is the code we are preparing? Int a equals to 30, int b equals to 60, int c equals to 70, int c equals to 70. After that, we are just multiplying. A multiplies b multiplies c. I created one method to multiply three numbers. So I informed all the team members, dear team, I created one method to multiply three numbers. Going forward, you people don't write the code. You can simply call this method and multiply three numbers. So I'm the one of the team member. I want to multiply three numbers. So as per my senior member confirmation, I decided to use the method. How to use the method? Since it is a static method, since we are in the same class, I'm just directly calling the method I called. Can we call it for only one time or any number of times? Yes, we can call it for any number of times. How to call this? Say second time also I'm calling this method. Yes, third time also I'm calling this method. Any number of times we can call this method. So when you run this code, see all the three times multiply method called and print the same output. Yes, method is correct, logic is correct, syntax is correct, and usage also is correct. There is no problem here, but there is a limitation here. What is the limitation? Everyone required to multiply three numbers, but not same three numbers. Everybody wants to multiply three numbers, but not 30, 60, 70, everyone. One developer wants to multiply 30, 40, 50. Second developer wants to multiply 60, 70, 80. Third developer wants to multiply 80, 90, 100. But what is a mistake I did as senior member? I created a method. I declare the variables directly in the method, which is not suggestible. In that case, instead of declaring the values directly in the method, we are passing these variables as a arguments. We are declaring these variables as a arguments. So how to create the argument? How many variables are required? Three variables. I'm just deleting from here. I'm going to initialize those variables as a arguments. What is that? A. Next one is the B. Then next one is the int C. So instead of hard coding, instead of declaring the values directly inside the method, I'm maintaining those variables as a arguments or parameters. So I created one multiply method By giving the three parameters are arguments, and simply I write the logic inside the method. What is the advantage of creating the method with parameters or arguments going forward? Whoever is calling this method, now I want to call this method. When I'm trying to call this method, it will ask me, fine user, you can call this method, but for calling this method, you need to pass three values. Which values I need to pass? Which values I would like to multiply? I'm the first developer. I want to multiply 30, 40, 50. I'm just giving 30 and 40 and next one. Understand? Now another developer wants to multiply 60, 70, 80. What I'm doing? Simply calling the method by passing 60 as a and 70 as a B and 80 as a C. And another developer wants to multiply 100, 200, 300. So A is 100 and B is the 200 and C I'm passing it as a 300. This is called as method with arguments. In last class, I have explained you about methods without having any arguments. Now we are talking about methods with arguments. This is very important, especially for Selenium. I'll give you one scenario you can understand. Suppose every tester, every Selenium tester wants to open Facebook application. So I created one method to open the Facebook application. So by calling this method, everyone can open the Facebook application. But in future, I want to open the Yahoo Mail application. So this method is not helpful because this method is for opening only Facebook application. That is the reason while creating this method, instead of providing the URL directly in the method, I'm passing this URL as a argument so that I can use this method for any type of application, to open any type of application. This is the purpose of creating methods. As I explained you that in our project, we are maintaining 60 different types of methods in Selenium. But in that, most of the methods are having the arguments or parameters that we'll see again clearly in the Selenium perspective in the next videos. That's all about the methods with the arguments. Thank you all.